Just three more. Just three more. I want to make sure. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can we settle down a bit? We're going to start. I know downstairs there are drinks, but I'm not sure if that was communicated well. But they would be bringing those up. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We are starting our proceedings for the day. My name is Kondagele Sompondo. I'm the Director of Institutional Advancement from the Office of the Vice-Chancellor. Tonight, I'm going to be your Program Director, and my first task out of the long list of duties that I'm going to perform tonight is to welcome all of you in this momentous event, in this beautiful building. I'm sure you all agree with me, to this wonderful university and our beautiful city and province. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence tonight. Let me declare up front my joy and honor at being part of today's proceedings. A day that has a potential of changing the course of history of this young university. Today, our university is about to launch its first fundraising campaign, an endowment fund, which will set foundations for future sustainability of this wonderful university. A proud and historical moment for our young university, and I'm truly honored to be part of that history. And so should you. We gathered here as a group that was invited to be part of this wonderful event, but I believe we would leave this place tonight as the group of pioneers that set in motion the plan that will change the face of this university long after we are all gone. As one famous Leo Pascaglia once said, I quote, "Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around." Ladies and gentlemen, gratitude begins at heart and dovetails into a behavior. It almost always makes you willing to be of service, to do good to others, which is where the joy lies. And that, I believe, is the essence of who we are as human beings. Ladies and gentlemen, before I invite our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Andrew Crouch, to come and address us tonight about the significance of this event, I would like to acknowledge the presence of some of our significant guests tonight. I would like to welcome the Chair of Council of Salt Lake University Judge, Violet Patswane, our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Andrew Crouch and his lovely wife, Lynette, members of the senior management of our university led by Professor Jean Baxen, our Deputy Vice-Chancellor, our special guests from the diplomatic fraternal, I understand Director General Justice Bekebeke is here, local businesses and partners of Salt Lake University, heads of schools, academics, and members of the support staff present here tonight, as well as our student represented here by the executive of the Student Representative Council, our SRC. Members of the media that are here tonight, that are here not only to bear witness to the proceedings of this momentous event, but they are here to take the message and share wide and far to all corners of this beautiful country and beyond. Last but not least, I want to welcome all members that are joining us online through live streaming. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome. Without further ado, I would like to call upon our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Andrew Couch, to come and give us the address of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Sompondo, for that lovely introduction and a word of welcome. I would just like to reiterate your welcome by, again, extending a special word of welcome to our special guests, our Chair of Council, Judge Botswana, who just joined us. Welcome, and thank you, Judge. I know that you are very, very busy, but thank you for gracing us with your presence. Also, members of the university community here present, special guests from business and the private sector, members of the senior management team present here today, members of the academic corps and the support and professional corps, our students who joined us for this very, very special occasion, and all of those who are virtually logged into this event. Today is indeed a special moment for me. There were many special moments this year, but this is certainly one of the highlights for the year in terms of events and happenings at the university. Today, as Mr. Sompondo said, we are again reaching another milestone in the history of this institution. People always refer to this as a developing institution. And I say no, it's not a developing institution. It's a young institution. It's a university that is young, and it's a university that, being a university, it recognizes that has the fully fledged powers of a university as was promulgated in 2013. The university started taking in students in 2014, and I'm not going to rehash the history, but it started very modestly. And today, we can certainly pride ourselves in being a university that sometimes punches above our weight. Or, I don't know what is the right word, it says punches above our mass. I think from a scientific point of view, it's probably punching above our weight. So, today is an event where we're going to introduce a concept of the decade campaign which Mr. Sompondo has referred to. Because in 2024, this university is going to be 10 years old. Now, it's fitting that we have this event on the 10th day of December, the 10th day of this month in this year 2021. Because when we're going to record the annals of history, I think it's going to be easier to remember that when we're launching the decade campaign of Saul Plaatje University, it happened on the 10th. It's historic. What is the purpose of this decade campaign? I must remind everyone here present about why we need a campaign of this kind. A campaign necessary to assist us to roll out the mission that we set ourselves for this university. I spoke the other day of our mission. And just for the record, I'd like to repeat it, that this institution wants to be an institution of higher learning, which is uniquely positioned to create graduate citizens which are competent and capable of realizing the aspirations of society. So it's important that we should be sustainable as a university to make sure that we speak to that mission. We also want to be a university that produces knowledge which impacts on key issues of this region. And we also want to be a university that is critically engaged with our community and the communities around us, communities of discourse, and peoples around us in order to seek pathways to equitable development. Now, I know you might know what the mission is, but I thought let me repeat it, because I think when we're talking about a campaign to raise money for what? A campaign to raise money for particular projects which we want to roll out so that we can, in fact, speak and implement this mission. Because Saul Plaatje University is going to be in existence as a university for 10 years in 2024, we thought it fitting that we start now to raise an amount of 100 million rand by the time we turn 10. Now, it's easier said than done, colleagues. We can say we want to raise 100 million rand, but we must work towards raising that 100 million rand. Academics have a tendency to talk a lot, and we talk and we look at problems and issues from all angles, but we are slow sometimes to implement. So when I announce this name of this decade campaign, for me it is the start of the process of implementation. So it starts from today. Now, it does not mean that we have not done anything as yet. I want to share with this audience, and this is fresh off the press because we are busy with a document to actually report on our progress. We normally have 3 types of income streams. We get a special grant from the Department of Higher Education and Training, because we're such a special university, of course. We also get fees from students. And we know that most of our students come from very poor and impoverished environments, and the majority of our students are on NSFAS grants. So those are the 2 means of income. But there's a third means of income, which we call third stream income. And under third stream income, we refer to all income that is not from the first 2 sources. And I'm happy to report today that for 2021, our third stream income has exceeded 36 million rand. That is almost double what we had as third stream income in 2020. And we hope to significantly add to that figure. Now, over and above the third stream income that we need to run projects and to support students within the university, because that is what I'm talking about here. This decade campaign is meant to fund and support scholarships for students who are not necessarily covered by NSFAS. Scholarships for students who might, through NSFAS, it does not meet all their needs. Scholarships to young, bright minds who, through their own, or not through their own fault, mainly through their circumstances, cannot come to university, but they are bright enough. We would like to support them at Saul Plaatje University. Postgraduate students that cannot find funding through the normal means of funding. Sports individuals that have talent. We would like to also offer them sports bursaries. We have beautiful facilities, you can see here, and it's still being developed. So this fund, this endowment fund, or decade campaign, is meant for that. We also would like to apply this decade campaign to some minor infrastructure projects, such as building maintenance. We have beautiful buildings, but remember, there's what I call wear and tear. Some of our buildings are 80 years old already. And as the buildings grow older, they need more maintenance. There's things such as campus signage. We would like to be in a position to change all signage into languages which is representative of this region. And one needs money for that. This decade campaign is also meant to fund social impact projects. Funding is sought for community engagement projects, for transformation, where we can target specific areas. We have a shortage of female academics in the senior echelons of our academic staff. And we need to make major cash injections to attract and also develop senior female academics into those positions. We are in the midst of COVID. And we have, although we have managed, or some of us have managed, to deal with COVID, we also have to look at staff wellness, the state of mental health of our staff, as well as our students. We need this endowment for professional development in our students, in our staff, not only academic staff, but also our professional and support personnel. So there's a lot of things that we need. And our two basic sources of income cannot always cover all the things that we need to do in this university. So this decade campaign, we went through a branding exercise, and I see Mr. Sompondo is smiling, because we decided that as part of this exercise, we're going to align the brand of Saul Plaatje University to be singular and focused. And our brand has not been renewed or revised, but maybe I can say it has been renewed. And we have, in fact, decided to call our decade campaign the Lesedi Le Africa Fund. And that is what I would like to announce today, the Lesedi Le Africa Fund, which is a campaign over 3 years and beyond to raise an amount of 100 million rand from today into the future. The interest gained from this fund is meant for the things that I spoke about earlier. I would want you, those of you who have deep pockets, even our students that are going to become rich alumni one day, and I can see they all have this glow of being successful people going forward. All of you sitting around here, there are some pledge forms on the tables, etc. we would like to invite those that can pledge, no matter how small the pledge, to start this funds. I will myself make an individual pledge to this fund. I will also call on the Chair of Council to call on council members to support this fund, as well as members of my executive and the rest of the university. So we will be coming to knock on your door for this very good cause, but we will not bankrupt you, I can promise you. I'm sure a small amount every month over a long period of time accumulates. Remember how rivers form. Remember how oceans form. Remember how lakes form, drop by drop. And those drops accumulate to form this raging river that flows into this lake or this ocean. And that is what we want. We want to create, through the small contributions and the large ones, this lake of wealth that we can use to support not only you, but also the generations that come after you. So with that, Mr. Sampondo, I'd like us to, must I raise it? I'm not so familiar with the technology. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the start of our Lesedi La Africa Endowment Campaign, starting in 2021 and ending in 2020, but it will go on way beyond 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vice-Chancellor. Now, officially, we have the Lesedi La Africa Fund Endowment Campaign of Sol Plaatje University that seeks to raise over 100 million rand in 3 years, from 2021 up to 2024. Vice spoke about the pledge forms. So on your tables, there are pledge forms. I just want to quickly take you through how we've made giving very easy at SPU. The pledge form really gives you an option of a once-off donation. You can make a once-off donation of one lump sum, or you can give in multiples. You can give in months, like I did. So this is the pledge form, and I have pledged, Vice-Chancellor, that I am going to give in 3 years an amount of 72,000 rand that will be paid in 36 installments of 200 rand each, and that will be done through a salary deduction from my employer, Sol Plaatje University. And this is how easy it is. From as little as 50 rand a month, we can make history. We can change the course of history just like that, long after we're all gone here. But history will remember us through a small contribution of only 50 rand. In fact, from 50 rand, you can go way more than I did. Some of us, VC, you talked about people with deep pockets. So those with deep pockets really don't have to give 200 rand a month. So thank you so much, VC. Now I am going to give an opportunity for messages of support. I have lined up a few people, but first up is the Chair of Council, Justice Patswane. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome George Patswane to the podium.
I think it will be fine. Program Director, Mr. Sompondo, Prof. Crouch. I haven't seen Prof. Baxen. Prof. Baxen, there you go. Members of the academia here present, administration or administrative staff, student. I'm told they are also in our midst. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to share a message of support for the Decade campaign on behalf of Council of the University. During the preceding 6 quarterly meetings of Council, the Vice-Chancellor reported to us of the university's plan to launch the Decade campaign and of meetings that he has already held with some of potential funders. On the 11th of July 2020, the VC reported as follows to Council. I'm going to quote you, Prof. Solplaatje University will be 10 years old in 2024. As part of the 10-year celebrations, my office would like to launch a Decade campaign with the view of raising 100 million by 2024. Yes, this is steep, but could be realized. The 100 million rand should be used as an endowment fund with interest from this fund to be used to support student bursaries for those deserving students who fall in the missing middle category. The larger this fund, the larger the pool of interest, close quote. All these reports were received with humility and much delight on the part of Council. It is fulfilling to note that the campaign is geared towards financial assistance of our students in the realization of their dream to be educated. That is so fundamental. The right to education is a gateway to achievement of other socio-economic rights by our students and the larger community, which stands to benefit from this project as well. From the former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, he said the following: education is a human right with immense power of transformation. On its foundation rests the cornerstone of freedom, democracy, and sustainable human development. I also note that the resources, in addition, will be applied to infrastructure projects, social impact programs, and employee wellness. All this is much needed for our fledgling university, and I say this with caution because Prof said this is a young university, not a developing university. We all know that COVID-19 has put the financial sustainability of universities, many universities in this country or globally, at risk. Fundraising campaigns of this nature have become indispensable. Prof Crouch and your team, your commitment and enthusiasm towards this worthy cause is immensely valued by Council, Lesedi la Africa campaign. With this launch, your dream of alleviating the plight of our needy students, the bright minds that you referred to, and financial sustainability of our institution have come to fruition. The road ahead, as you said, will not be easy. This is indeed a bold step. As you said, this is steep, Time has now arrived to take the campaign to the next level. I am positive that you will succeed in this assignment and that you will deliver outstanding results. With your determination, there is nothing that you will not overcome. In fact, I know that nothing will be in your way of your drive to achieve the goals that you've set with this Lesedi La Africa campaign. May the project prosper and deliver well. Council and myself will always support this initiative and will be behind at all times. And I promise to ask members of our council to make their pledges. I know that I am contributing monthly to the Vice-Chancellor's bursary fund, and I'm going to have to ask the Chief Financial Officer for this worthy cause to divide that which I'm contributing into two. Part of that, half of that should go to Lesedi La Africa campaign. Prof, I'm sending you all the blessing from the council side. And I would like to turn my attention to the Vice-Chancellor's Excellence Award. I know that this is not the moment, and seize this moment to congratulate the winners of the first ever Vice-Chancellor's Excellence Award in all the four categories, I'm told. I do so because I would regrettably, for reasons that are truly beyond my control, would not be joining you in celebration of your achievement later tonight. In brief, on behalf of Council, we sincerely appreciate the tremendous contribution each of our winners have made to the institution. The Excellence Award is in consequence of your diligent work and concerted efforts. This prestigious award will be a remembrance of how you prevail in your work and how you have completely devoted your attention to your work. Council is proud of you. You deserve the awards. Well earned. A hearty congratulations. Keep it up and continue to blossom in your careers. All the best. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Judge Patswana, for those wonderful words and your commitment and committing Council to this wonderful project. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call upon the President of the SRC or his representative, Mr. Buza, who's going to come and give the message of support from the SRC.
Please allow me to extend my most warm greetings to the Vice-Chancellor of the University and the Principal, Professor Andrew Crouch, to the DVC, Professor Mary Jane Buxton, the University Registrar, the University Management, members of the University Council, and the House at large. The privilege of addressing you this evening is indeed an honor to me. My role as the messenger will consist of being short like a miniskirt and covering essentials. As the SRC 2021-2022, we wish nothing but success to those who are going to be presented with Excellence Awards for their dedication, commitment, and passion in their work. It is clear that you have worked hard to be recognized. Professor Crouch, I am one of the people who participated in a strike against you as the Vice-Chancellor based on the article that we read about you refusing to register students at Wits University due to money that they owed to a university. We rejected you based on the basis that most students, especially black students, are financially burdened, making it difficult for them to pursue a higher education and continue with their education. Moreover, Solplaki University was built post-apartheid and prides itself on being an institution of social justice, meaning that people who have been exploited, marginalized, oppressed, should have access to higher education so that they could play a prominent role in helping transform society into one that is just and equal for all. Prof. Crouch, in the short space of time that you have been here in this university, you have shown to some, if not most of us, that the vision you have is not only for the Solplaki University, but for the entire Northern Cape province. And the fact that you have established a youth program center in Appington is a testimony to that. In addition to being the university's apex student body, we also inherited a brilliant idea from the previous SRC, of which I was a member. The Tusami Tuti Fund, which is the brainchild. According to the Tusami Tuti Fund mandate, the mission is to raise funds for students who are financially in need. Many students of Solplaki University comes from rural and economically disadvantaged backgrounds and are first generation students in their homes. They therefore do not have adequate support to focus fully on their studies. Research findings have indicated that most of the students are not sure for which course to register in their first year. First year students most often register for a course that they meet the requirements for, based on their matric subjects and their results. Most first years do not register for a course based on their abilities, skills, and personality. Others choose a course based on the job prospect. Many students eventually drop out of higher education to seek income for themselves and their families. As a direct result of a mismatch between costs and abilities and limited support from the families, students fail to complete their courses and drop out because of lack of funding. In addition, as the university likes to boast that it is the first university on the African continent to introduce the data science program, we request that they consider a mining program that will consist of cutting, polishing diamond, which it is found within the Northern Cape province, which is currently benefiting the Western world. Kimberley was at the forefront of the mining revolution around the 1860s. Despite being the first university in the Northern Cape province, Solplaki University should speak to the needs of the local community. Our belief is that a mining engineering program at Solplaki University will play a pivotal role, not just in restoring the dignity of the Northern Cape province, but also restoring the dignity of the African continent and every African in the diaspora. The level of poverty on the African continent is highly attributed to the exploitation of raw materials and the lack of willingness of government to take deliberate decisions in owning our resources. Solplaki University should be the hope and the light of the African continent. Also, as the SRC 2021-2022, we are committed to bringing more programs that will contribute to the growth, sustainability, and development of our university and society as they interact. It is my wish that Solplaki University continues to grow and become the best engineer of society development, contributing to eliminate the high levels of poverty, unemployment, and also the biggest issue in our country, which is racism, through its graduates who are citizens with competence and ability to achieve the society's aspirations. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once more for the liberty.
Thank you so much, Mr. Buza, for your commitment and your wonderful ideas, which I believe would form part and would firmly benefit from the proceeds of this wonderful initiative post-2024. Now, I'm going to call upon the last speaker who's going to give the message of support, representing staff, the Chief Operating Officer of the university, Mr. David Kanguwe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Sompondo caught me off guard, but they say as a soldier you must always be ready. So, Mr. Sompondo, I'm ready. Chair of Council, Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Mrs. Crouch, DVC, Executive, ladies and gentlemen, and our lovely students and the SRC. Good evening. There is a famous saying that says, it takes a community to raise a child. This wonderful event that has brought us here is once more an expression of this wonderful saying. In Setswana, or in the Bantu language, we say, Ubuntu, Boto. This is what you are trying to do here, Professor Crouch. Like the children you want to support through this initiative, some of us have also been taken care of or raised through this Ubuntu that I'm talking about. When we were growing up, you knew that your parent is not just your mother and father or your grandparents. You knew that the auntie next door, the auntie behind, the auntie in front, the auntie at church, the auntie in the street, they are all your parents. That is how we grew up. And when one reflects and you look at yourself and say, hey, I have achieved a lot. Let me count those people that have contributed in my life. That lady that once told you not to take the left turn, to take the right turn, contributed to who you are today. That gentleman who bought you lunch while you did not have lunch contributed to you today. You can be a COO, you can be a president of the country, but if those people who have shaped you like building blocks are not recognized, then you are not complete. So my message today is to the student body. You are going to be supported through this initiative. Your brothers, your sisters are going to be supported through this initiative. It is up to you if you want to do the same and to encourage them to do the same. Remember the other saying, do unto others the same things that you would like them to do unto you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kanguwe. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings to the end the first segment of our event tonight. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence tonight. On behalf of the Council and the Vice-Chancellor of the University, I would like to extend a word of thanks to all of you tonight. Thank you. We will now proceed down to the main hall, which is where we are going to have the second segment of tonight's proceedings. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. DVC. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second segment of tonight's proceedings, the Vice-Chancellor's Excellence Awards. And this is the inaugural awards for Salt Lake University. Tonight, we celebrate many hardworking and talented members of staff who, despite all the challenges of the past 18 months, continue to innovate, make discoveries, and go above and beyond to help build a brighter future for young people of our country. Tonight is about recognizing those people. As a young university, it is important that we continue to remind ourselves of why we are here. It is important to remind ourselves that we are here and in the business of creating a brighter future for all our young people. This goes beyond generating new knowledge, but it is about building lives. So tonight, our Vice-Chancellor is going to recognize those of us that through their daily lives have projected a behavior and results that are in line with what the university seek to achieve. So tonight, we would have 4 categories of these awards. The first category would be the community and excellence in community engagement. And the second one would be the excellence in service delivery. And the third one would be excellence in teaching. And the last one would be excellence in research. But I am not going to be the one that is doing that work. Vice-Chancellor was assisted by committees that adjudicated and looked over all the nominees that were received. And the committee that adjudicated over the VC's community engagement Excellence in Community Engagement was chaired by our Chief Operating Officer, Mr. David Kangue, and the committees that adjudicated over the excellence in teaching and excellence in research was chaired by our Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Jean Baxen. I am now going to call upon both Professor Baxen and Mr. David Kamgue to come to the podium and help the Vice-Chancellor honor some of those that have done well. Thank you, Mr. Kangue and Professor Baxen. You may proceed to the stage. You can stand there. I would also like to call upon a Vice-Chancellor to join us on the stage, Professor Andrew Crouch. Before we allow Vice-Chancellor to hand over the awards, I would like to call upon you, Vice-Chancellor, to give a few words on what is it that you were looking for in these awards. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sampondo. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this event. Again, another historic event in the life of this young university. Tonight, we're celebrating excellence. And my colleagues to my right, they're welcome to join me here on the stage, please. Prof. Baxen and Mr. Kangue, respectively, have been responsible for adjudicating the winners through the panels that they have in fact chaired. As I said, today we're celebrating excellence. And why is it important to celebrate excellence? It's important because we as a university in the Northern Cape, in South Africa, we would like to promote excellence and not mediocrity. I said in a previous speech that I've given that for too long, the people of the Northern Cape and the people of Kimberley and South Africa in general had to deal with mediocrity. It's time that we turn our attention to what really is important, what is going to take us beyond not only this generation, but generations to come. Earlier today, in fact, just before this event, we launched the Decade Campaign. And I think if we strive for excellence, it makes my life and the life of the executives here behind me much easier in going out to our partners, going out to our communities and saying, this is what Solplaatje University is about. Bring and send your young charges to this university so that we can mold them, so that they can go out, go back into the communities and in fact raise not only the living conditions of your communities, but also plant the seed of excellence there. It will have a tremendous impact on the institutional culture of this institution. If we all strive for excellence, we know that we can rub that off to anybody that in fact enters this institution. And that is why the recognition we're going to give today is just a small token to affirm that excellence. The awards that we're going to hand out today also will tell a story to not only individuals that are going to receive these awards, and that's going to be affirmed through these awards. But I would like to send, through the Vice-Chancellor's Excellence Awards, I would like to send the signal that that is what we as a university community stands for. So these awards, in my view, ties in with what we as a university would like to achieve. This is the inaugural award. It's another milestone, like the one we've reached earlier. It's another milestone in the history of these young institutions. And may we have many, many awards after this one, even after myself and the executive members here are not here anymore. But that we remember this day as a day where we say, we recognize the excellence that we have, but we also would like to plant a seed further in saying that we stand for excellence. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice-Chancellor. We are now going to start with the Community Engagement Award, and the person who's going to do that, in fact, is the first two awards, the Community Engagement Award and the Service Delivery Award. And the person who's going to lead us in that process is Mr. David Kanguwe.
Vice-Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to announce first the list of nominees, all the entrants, for the Community Engagement Awards, as well as for the Service Delivery Awards. We had the following people. From the School of Economic and Management Sciences, we had Professor Pierre Joubert. From the School of Education, we had Doctors G. Daris and T. Herman. The School of Education is very, very involved. We had two other entrants, Dr. W. Boetes and Mr. T. Sefatsa. From Student Affairs, we had G. Merahe. From ICT, we had Mr. L. Herman. And again, from the School of Economic and Management Sciences, we had Ms. Gail Motlaudi. Vice-Chancellor, it is my pleasure to call upon those that have made it, as they say, the first amongst equals, because all the entrants were very good, but we have to always choose one, unfortunately. But in this category, we have two. one under community engagement and one under service delivery. So for those who were chosen for community engagement, I would like to call upon the following people to the stage. Drs. D. Daras and T. Herman, as well as Dr. W. Buertes and Mr. T. Sefatsa. Vice-Chancellor, the Vice-Chancellor's Excellence Award in Community Engagement is for the contributions made in placing the institutional goals of learning and knowledge production central to high-impact public community engagement, which must be focused on engagement as a scholarly endeavor. The recipient of the first VC's Excellence Award in Community Engagement is a team of academics from the School of Education for their outstanding work in the Science for the Future S4F project of the school. They are Dr. Gladys Dyrus, Dr. Tracy Herman, Dr. Wits Buertes, and Mr. Tukelo Sefatsa. In addition to their very busy schedules, this team of academics still found time to work with schools and learners of the S4F project after school, on weekends and during holidays. Dr. Daras and Dr. Herman work on the foundation phase grade 3 family math element of the project, while Dr. Buertes and Mr. Sefatsa work in the intermediate phase grade 8 and 9 key concepts in science elements of the project. The project is an inter-university community project among 6 South African universities that focuses on mathematics and science in the various school phases. The primary aim of the project is to provide professional development teachers at different schools in the Northern Cape. The project commenced in 2019 and involved 5 grade 3 teachers in a primary school in Kimberley. The project has a positive impact on the development of mother tongue instruction in the foundation phase. Learning and teaching material is available in all South African languages. Each school participating in the project receives the learner books and concrete manipulatives. Since the family math material is aligned with the foundation phase caps for mathematics, teachers have the opportunity to reinforce important concepts for the particular school term using the provided concrete manipulatives. Over a challenging 3-year period, which included navigating the disruptions brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, the project has grown to include 14 primary schools, 14 school principals, 2 departmental officials from the Northern Cape Department of Education, 53 grade 3 teachers, 1,908 grade 3 learners, and numerous parents, guardians, and caregivers. Another valuable contribution of the team to academic staff is the establishment of communities of practice with the external stakeholders and between different staff members in the School of Education. As a result, this led to the contractual appointment of 3 retired foundation phase teachers who primarily assist with the facilitation and implementation of the project. The appointed teachers receive training and continuous support in using the cascade model to implement this project. Honorable Vice-Chancellor, it is with great pleasure that I request you to present the award to Dr. Gladys Dyrus, Dr. Tracy Herman, Dr. Wits Buertes, and Mr. Tukelo Sefatsa. And now, for the Service Delivery Award, I would like to call Mr. L. Herman from ICT to the stage, please. The Vice-Chancellor's Excellence Award in Service Delivery is made to a staff member who meets the following criteria. Staff member of Supply Queue University in good standing, an excellent performer who consistently exceeds the expectations of the position. There must be evidence of an improvement in the quality of service delivered to staff, students, and members of the surrounding community. Contributes to creating an enabling culture of service excellence within the employees' cohort of peers. Evidence of having introduced initiatives that produced efficiencies in work practices and/or processes. The recipient of the first Vice-Chancellor's Excellence Award in Service Delivery is Mr. Liam Herman. A senior administrator, customer support in the Information and Technology Unit. Mr. Herman, who's a Supply Queue University graduate, exemplifies the spirit of excellent service delivery through his positive attitude and his diligence. He was initially an intern in the ICT unit before he became a computer laboratory assistant in the School of Natural and Applied Sciences. When a permanent position became available in ICT, he applied and was selected as the top candidate. For such a young employee, he has shown enormous initiative in the developing systems that are enabling a digitalized environment, often in areas outside of his prescribed duties. This has had a significant impact on ICT processes at the university. He's a sought-after member of the ICT team for his efficiency, enthusiasm, and reliability. He exemplifies the kind of service delivery that should distinguish SPU from other institutions. It is my pleasure, Vice-Chancellor, to humbly request you to present the award for service delivery to Mr. Liam Herman.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, Professor Crouch, honored guests, it is my pleasure to, and of course my colleagues, the SPU community, good evening. Thank you. We also have honored guests from outside of SPU, and I'm sure you feel absolutely welcome here this evening. It is my honor, Vice-Chancellor, to announce or to read the citations for the nominees for the Teacher's Excellent Award. And what I'm going to do, because what we did both in research and in the Teaching Award, is that we invited the nominees. So there are a few nominees, but unfortunately there's always only one winner, Mrs. Crouch. And so I'm going to read the citations and then let the cat out of the bag. The Vice-Chancellor's Teaching Award is for teaching contributions made in the 2020 academic year only. Nominees were assessed against and had to meet at least 2 of the following criteria. The staff member who contributed to capacity development of academics in transitioning to online, blended, remote teaching at a university level, or the staff and a staff member who contributed to capacity development of academics in transitioning to online, remote, or blended learning at the school level, and or the staff member who contributed to the capacity development of students in transitioning to this now new normal at the university level and or at the school level. And then finally, an academic who demonstrated the use of authentic and innovative assessment strategies in an online environment at the school level. The nominees for the Teaching Award are as follows: Dr. Marga Stander, Dr. Lorenzo Pinto, Mr. Ravindra Bapu, Ms. Laura Arnold, and Professor H. Kabir, and Mr. Gert Hanekom. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, the recipient for the first Teaching Award is Mr. Gert Hanekom, an Afrikaans lecturer in the School of Education. In 2020, Mr. Hanekom played a pivotal role in the formal capacity development programs for staff and students that were facilitated by the Center for Teaching and Learning and Program Development. He was directly involved at university and school levels in program development as well as facilitation with staff and students. This enabled us as an institution to successfully transition to online and remote teaching. In addition, Mr. Hanekom followed up with staff and students, working with individuals and small groups to ensure competence and uptake. His care, patience, and innovative ideas, and of course, digital competence, reduced fear among staff and students. He lessened their trepidation for the unknown and was able to motivate both to face the online environment with enthusiasm. Mr. Hanekom is a worthy recipient, Mr. Vice-Chancellor, for this award, an unselfish academic who majorly contributed to this institution, completing the 2020 academic year during unprecedented times. It is with great pleasure that I request you, Mr. Vice-Chancellor, to present the Vice-Chancellor's Teaching Award to Mr. Gert Hanekom. Now, unfortunately, we've had COVID cases in the School of Education, and I think Mr. Hanekom felt that it's best for him not to be here because he might have been in direct contact with some of our colleagues. And so I'm going to ask, with your permission, Professor Crouch, whether or not the head of school cannot come to accept the award on behalf of Mr. Hanekom. Prof. Ndofarepi, thank you. Let's welcome him. School of Education has been busy. Prof. Crouch, I would like to present the Vice-Chancellor's Award, Research Award. The Vice-Chancellor's Research Award is the research contributions made in the 2020 academic year only. 2 categories were considered, namely impact on SPU's national visibility through research and or impact on SPU's international visibility through research. Each school nominated scholars who met at least 2 of the following criteria. They either had to be NRF rated, their research output had to have policy influence, they had to participate in national and or international development programs, they had to have successfully attracted national or international research grants, and had to participate in national or international panels that required their expertise. The nominees for the Vice-Chancellor's Research Award is Professor Amasando Ferepi, Dr. Colin Chibaya, Dr. Jeremiah Sifadi, and Dr. Lorenzo Pinto, as well as the awardee. And so the recipient of the first Vice-Chancellor's Research Award is Professor Ramos Emmanuel Mabugu. Who is a full professor and actually was the first full professor at SPU. Professor Mabugu is in the School of Economic and Management Sciences. He's also the chair of the school's Committee on Research and is a member of the Senate Research Ethics Committee. The award is in recognition of the impact he has made toward SPU's international visibility through research. Prof. Mabugu has a PhD in economics from Gothenburg University in Sweden, and prior to joining Solplaike University, headed the Research and Policy Division at the Financial and Fiscal Commission. He has extensive lecturing and supervision experience and has published 41 research articles, 12 book chapters, and 24 occasional papers or working papers. Related to the award, Professor Mabugu was recognized as a research expert. To this end, in April 2020, he was invited by the presidency to be part of a convened eminent group of 30 South African economists from the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, from within the government as well as from academic institutions, think tanks, and society and business and labor organizations. And this was to assess the implications for macroeconomic policy of emergency relief measures announced by the President of South Africa on the 21st of April in response to the COVID-19 crisis. At a provincial level, Prof. Mabugu served and continues to serve as a member of the Northern Cape Agri-Bee Charter Council provincial structure, helping the structure find its feet, adopt terms of reference, attract buy-in from the private sector. He has also been invited by the Northern Cape Premier's Office to peer review and mentor the revision process of the action plan to give effect to the Northern Cape's Vision 2040 Provincial Growth and Development Plan. Professor Mabugu produced a review report designed to inform the Northern Cape Provincial Government in refining and implementing and the implementation of the institutional policy and investment action required to enhance chances of a successful implementation of the NPGD. The review report pointed out that the measures have serious macroeconomic implications for the level of public debt and for the budget deficit, particularly as tax revenues are projected to slump in the medium term due to the crisis. He then raised two urgent macro policy priorities for the province as well as for South Africa. The domestic resource mobilization work was subsequently presented to African Ministers of Finance by GDN, and forthcoming is a book chapter in a handbook on fiscal federalism with the publisher Palgrave Macmillan. Professor Mabugu played a catalytic role in knowledge production directly related to policy impact. He was invited to co-author a policy brief with colleagues from United Nations University for the G20 Summit on COVID-19 responses. It is my pleasure, Professor Crouch, that I request the Vice-Chancellor to present the award to Professor Mabugu, my colleague, on impact towards SPU's international visibility through research. Prof. Mabugu.
May I please ask? Yeah. Thank you. Another big round of applause for our winners, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, everyone. Now, I'm going to call upon, yes. Just wait there. Now, I'm going to call upon our student, Malbongwe, who is going to perform an item for us and keep us entertained after this wonderful achievement from our colleagues. Malbongwe, the podium is yours.
Tonundenza nje yandazi ndiyoika uthando longaka yandikwaluna ndlela unjonga ngayo yandibuka mna baby Cupid's your name, yeah. And I don't care what they say. You love me every day, yeah, yeah, every day, yeah, yeah. And the book, I'm not baby, every day. Ooh, every day, yeah, yeah, every day. And the book, I'm the baby every day. I love the way you love me. I love the way you love me. I love the way you love me. Every day. Ooh, every day. Every day. And the book, I'm the baby every day. I heard you were coming tomorrow. I heard from a girl you used to know. The last time I saw you was back in the days in high school. Later to la piluya me, irifasa ta sekolong, letsatilena letelele. Lidi jodi khana hotsena Kere fali tengi Sikolo sisiteni Kinse ke mochola chola ke molekula Bopilo buli monati Kere ke fela pilo Ke batla gombona ke mudumedi Se ke memo sifube Antibe ke molebe mo matlong Monati yo mokalo kalo Ke fela pelo, ke batla go mona ke modumedi se ke memo sifube antibe ke molebe mo matlong monate yo mokalo o lerato la pelo ya me e re fa sa tla sekolong letsatsi le nna le telele le dijo di gana go tsena ke re fa le tengi sekolo se tsene Kinse ke motlhola tlhola ke molekola Bopilo buli monati Kire ke fela pelo Ke batla go mmona ke modumedi Se ke memo sifube Antibe ke molebe mo matlong Monati yo mokalo kalo Ke fela pelo Ke batla go mmona ke modumedi Se ke memo sifube Antibe ke molebe mo matlong Monati yo mokalo kalo Uyayazi lento ifuna yo Nige yona Uyayazi lento ifuna yo Nige yona Umanga itoli kuwe uzohambe ifuna Angeke kusaba mnande kaya Umanga itoli kuwe uzohambe ifuna Angeke kusaba mnande kaya Uyayazi lento ifuna yo Nige yona baby ngiyavuma wankulule nkingeni zami waisuzi inhlungu yami ngithi baby ngiyavuma ngithi baby ngiyavuma wambonisa uthando lwangempela wamphatha njengenkosazana vuma 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 vuma